allegiance. There's a flag that I'll move out of the way of, not a large one. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd ask everyone to silence their devices unless they're about to speak. At this point, would you do roll call for physical services?
Ben? Benelli?
Present.
Kulisek?
Here.
Menuda? Paduk?
Here.
Riskevich?
Here.
Tui?
Here.
And Cheney.
Here.
And I believe we just had someone call in, and that is that Joe?
Menuda.
No,
Joe
No.
Menuda's on now.
Oh, Joe joined, okay.
Okay, can we get a roll call for unique, please?
Yes. Cheney?
Here.
Menuda? O'Donnell? Oh,
Here.
Sassy?
Here.
Sierra?
Here.
Stiganga? Here. Totel?
Here.
Riskevich?
Here.
Okay, thank you very much. Just like to remind everyone
And Benton is now here. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Good, so everybody's here. This is a discussion with legislators, deputy county executive, and council regarding the proposals for the sale of Grant Street Properties, Newburgh, New York. And it is subject to executive session, attorney-client discussion. If we get to any points where we need that, I would appreciate advice of counsel to move us in that direction if necessary. First of all, let me thank the legislators for bringing forth their questions and giving the administration the opportunity to respond to those. Those responses were received over the course of the last couple of days, including today with some updates. There were, however, two questions that I would like to give the administration the opportunity to answer because they left those as answers forthcoming. And the first one was to please explain why John McCary wasn't a part of the team to look at the sale of these properties. He has the most knowledge with all former negotiations. Is someone prepared to address that question from the administration?
Mr. Cheney,
Yes.
this is Antoinette Reed. Number one, I don't see that Mr. Brady, the Chief Assistant County Attorney, is on the call yet. Mr. Poor, are we expecting him to join us today?
Yes, we are. Matter of fact, I just emailed him myself. I know Eric's on the call.
Okay, so Mr. Cheney and Mr. Riskevich, I've gone through the responses that we did receive from Mr. Brady, and for the most part, the only one that really is subject to the open meetings is really factual, and that has to do with the outstanding balance on the bonds and any other information regarding the bonding of the acquisition of the buildings. Everything else would really be subject to attorney-client privilege, and really has to go towards our strategy in purchasing the property and the advice that you receive from counsel on that. So if there's not anything else, and I think the issue regarding Mr. McCary is something that is attorney-client privilege also, as far as his, he's no longer with the county. He's no longer a county employee. He has since retired. And I think that, we do have our own staff here now, but I would ask that anything else that we talk about goes into attorney-client privilege.
Okay, so then I will open it up to committee members from either committee for any questions or follow-up clarifications with regard to the bonds that were issued for the for the original Grant Street purchase. I see Legislator Paduk, or Minority Leader Paduk, excuse me, has his hand up. Would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some of the questions I submitted were answered. What I would like to say, there was one notification today in regard to the outstanding balance of the bonds issued. The amount owed in $2,281,947. I don't know if everybody has that in front of them or reviewed it, but the principal and the $33,626 in interest is really $333,626.77. So just to update you on that, and I guess this is we're having a big discussion about this, right? We're not just, we got the answers. There's going to be no discussion. We're going to go through the questions through, or are we just going to take the answers for granted that that's what they are?
No, absolutely not. If you need to get clarification on any of the responses to the questions, we're open to doing that, certainly. But in reference to what Legislative Council guidance, basically we're on the question, the only thing that's really open for discussion before we go into an executive session would be related to the specific information provided relative to the bonds.
I'm a little confused here. So we're going to wait to discuss it further.
We can, if we have questions or need clarifications on anything relative to the outstanding balance of the bonds, or I don't know whether there were any other questions related to that, then if there are questions to that, we can address them now in open session, as I understand it, and from there we would have to move into executive session to get into discussions and clarifications on the remaining questions.
Okay, I'll just go then, and if I'm out of accordance with what we need to do, please stop me or something. But my concern here is, we're looking at $1 million proposal and a $250,000 proposal to purchase these buildings. Just going down the debt service schedule, we bought them for 3.5. We've already paid $181,390 in interest. No, I'm sorry, we spent $398,454.35 in interest alone. This price to me is like crazy. That's why in my questions, I suggested that the legislature look at doing something different in that regard to at least try and get back a bigger portion of the money that we spent on the buildings. And that one, I don't know if we can talk about this now, about a land lease, which is, if you've looked at the questions, you've seen it. I propose, why didn't we take $1 million down and let them pay us $100,000 back a year for 30 years? That would get us back to the point that we purchased the building for, instead of just handing it over to them for $1 million.
That's
That
executive
will be
session.
attorney-client privilege about.
Okay, that would be a strategy question that we need to do an attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're clear on the numbers that they've given us relative to the bonds and the status of that, then I think that's probably the extent to which we can discuss it in open session and not go into attorney-client privilege. Is that correct,
Yes.
Counsel?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
So I see a couple of other hands up. I'm going to call on you at this point, assuming that you're talking, that your question has to do with the bonds. So Legislator Stiganga, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I was kind of confused because we've got two answers on when these bonds would be completed. So the one that I just looked up that we just got recently doesn't show until our final payments on all three of the properties will not be until 2034. But when they were answered originally, they were stating that it was going to be done in 2025. So there's a big difference in discrepancy there. And I'm kind of going to have to revert to when we go in to speak a little bit more, because as of right now, we've got about $800,000 in payments that we've already made just on principal, along with roughly a little over 300 or so as far as interest. So we'll go into those asking prices when we discuss it later on, but I just wanted to confirm that that is correct, because this is a package deal that our last payment to pay off all three of the buildings would be 2034.
Is there somebody who can respond to that? Because it does look confusing on my part also.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, this is Damian Brady. I can speak to, or Harry can speak to it.
All right, just in very rough numbers. We paid over $3 million for the three buildings. We paid off about $1 million of that, and there's a little bit over $2 million that's outstanding. And those bonds will have to be paid off according to the schedule from when the monies are borrowed.
Yeah, it's just in terms of the 2025 date, I was trying to get as much information to the legislature as quickly as possible based on the questions that were presented. And so the information that was provided today from the finance department was what was produced with their work on Friday and Monday. So the schedule you received showing the three different borrowings, with the last one being paid off in 2034 is correct. That's the one I would go by. All right.
Okay. So thank you for that clarification. The bonds at this point would not be expected to be paid off until 2035, which supersedes the initial answer that was given previously. Is that
correct?
Answer your question, Legislator Stiganga?
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for reaching out for that
And I'll
clarification.
follow up with the rest of my questions when we go into executive.
Thank you. Next, Legislator Tui. Your hand's up. Unmute, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a quick question. When we do sell the properties and for whatever amount gets negotiated, does that go to the general balance of the county, or does that go towards paying down that remaining debt to make it even less? You know what I mean? So if we've already paid $1 million and then we get, let's say, another $1 million, then we can cut all that down and save interest on that lump sum.
Would someone like to address that from the administration?
Well, I can answer that. That was addressed in our local law number 11 of 2020, where any proceeds from the sale would be used to reduce the bonds. And then the county would be responsible for payment of the bonds in totality, the balance of the bonds.
The remaining balance
Yep.
of the bonds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Antoinette.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Minority Leader Paduk, your hand's
Yeah,
up again.
Yeah, that
Go ahead.
question was, I think it was just about answered. So any monies that we get from the sale would be put towards the bonds, and the remaining amounts we'd still have to pay off.
Correct.
The perfect example why we cannot sell it for that much money. We got to figure out something different. That's crazy in my regard. So I'm sorry about that, but I've been looking at these numbers for a while and adding up the information that we got. Let's keep in mind, we're only going to 2020, not to 2034 if we sell. So we've already spent, like I said, well, I'll wait. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
I think we'd be better off. You're on the edge.
I do have one other question. In one of the questions, how will the sale address the Maple Building lease and commitments to tenants affect the parking issues? That was one of my questions, and it says, due to upcoming vacancies in the Maple Building at the end of the year, the county could consider selling the back parking lot of 54 Grand YMCA in order to enhance the price of the sale of these properties. In the Maple Building, there is only one tenant there, left there, and their leases are up, and they're not interested in re-signing.
That's something we can talk about in attorney-client
Okay.
session, okay?
All right. Okay.
I do have an answer for that.
Okay. Before we go any further, on the Teams meeting here, I think everyone sees on the top a blue ribbon that says recording has started. Someone pushed a button to record this session, and we're asking whoever did that to stop the recording. One, we're going to go into attorney-client session, so that will not be recorded. But secondly, we've experienced this problem before where someone starts recording the session and it interferes with the staff's ability to record. And then when we go to post our recording of the minutes of this meeting, the visual and audio, it's not there. So we can't figure out how we can save what we're doing in the office when someone is recording. So we're asking whoever's recording, and that in the future you're not recording meeting until we know what the problem is and why it's interfering with our staff's ability to record and save the minutes of this meeting. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, Legislator O'Donnell.
Chairman Brusher has his hand up.
Yeah, I see a red dot on one of the figures over to the left of my screen. I hope that's not me recording. I don't think it is, but you know what those two little bodies are there, and there's a little red dot there?
No,
Yeah,
the recording stopped. Yeah.
The recording has stopped. You're good.
Oh, it has? Okay. Then it wasn't me then. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Okay, Legislator O'Donnell, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Chairman. So, this is for Antoinette. Other than executive session, anybody who wants a copy of the recording can get it from the office. So there's no need for any of us to record. Is that correct?
That's correct. But when we go into attorney-client session, that will not be recorded.
Yes, I get it. I understand that.
And then the public can view the public portion of this meeting on our county website.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
All right, so it looks like we're ready to go into executive session. On behalf of Fiscal Services, could I get a motion and a second to do that? Legislator
Minelli motion.
Okay, and just for
And-
clarification, the motion is for an attorney-client session to discuss the potential sale of the Grant Street properties in the city of Newburgh.
And I had Paducah on the motion and Menuda on the second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Passed.
Okay, could I get a motion from E&E for the same motion?
So moved.
Dango and O'Donnell? Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, now Kelly, can you instruct Nick to stop the live streaming, and you'll contact him when we need for him to come back on board.
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you very much.
Nick, you're on the call, right?